Many candidates struggle to pass their APC first time because they miss out these 6 critical steps that, in my opinion, are absolutely vital when it comes to gaining chartered status with the RICS. After passing the APC in 2015, I've spent the last 10 years coaching APC candidates, and in this video I'm going to share 6 steps that, in my opinion, will massively increase your chances of passing your APC first time. The first piece of advice I would give that I believe is so critical to passing the APC first time is to attend a mock interview around 6 to 8 weeks prior to your real life final assessment. And just to demonstrate the importance of this, I just wanted to share a copy of a referral report that I received after attending a mock interview, and this highlights me having had issues with my presentation slides which were poorly formatted. And the referral report also highlighted several issues with my interview technique, where I was using hypothetical language and therefore I wasn't able to achieve a lot of the competencies at level 2 and level 3. But thanks to the mock interview, I was able to take this constructive feedback on board and go away and work on these weak areas and improve and address these in time for the final assessment interview, where I was then able to pass first time. But I genuinely believe that without the mock interview, this wouldn't have been the case. So the first piece of advice I would give would be to attend a mock interview around 6 to 8 weeks before your final assessment. The next piece of advice I would give that, again, I believe is absolutely critical for you to pass your APC first time is to undertake Q&A practice with a focus on improving your interview technique. And to highlight the importance of this, I just wanted to share the referral report that I received after attending a mock interview, which highlighted several issues with my own interview technique. I was using hypothetical language to address a lot of the questions. I was using phrases such as I think or I would, but we have to remember that the APC is all about you demonstrating your own practical experience that you've gained. So really try to talk in the past tense about your own experience when addressing questions at level 2. When addressing questions at level 3, we must again talk in the past tense about the experience that we've gained, but we must make reference to the advice that we've given to our clients. We must demonstrate that we've given them the best practice and helpful advice that's helped them to resolve any issues that they've faced. So again, please be sure to undertake a series of Q&A practice with a focus on working on your own interview technique, which is definitely something that I overlooked when working towards my own APC. In the last 10 years of coaching APC candidates, one of the biggest factors that consistently leads to success is just having good organisation. In the first 12 to 18 months of your APC, you should focus heavily on producing the key outputs and key pieces of documentation, this being the summary of experience, the case study, your CPD record and your diary logbook, in addition to completing the online ethics module. And candidates who complete these activities and the documentation in good time and who have remained organised really do set themselves up to have the best possible chance of preparing for their final assessment interview. By finalising your documentation early, you create the space to concentrate fully on revision and preparation in the months leading up to your final assessment, and then roughly around 5 to 6 months before your interview, your focus should then shift from producing the documentation to preparing for the final assessment interview itself. And at this stage, your efforts should then go into preparing and rehearsing your case study presentation. You should be revising and structuring your revision around your submission documentation with a particular focus on the RICS ethical standards and rules of conduct. At this stage, you should also be attending mock interviews and practicing your Q&A. But to summarise, candidates who have remained organised and completed the majority of their documentation in good time give themselves the headspace and the time to prepare properly prior to their final assessment interview, and that preparation is what massively increases your chances of passing the APC first time. And for anybody feeling really overwhelmed or daunted by the APC, I am offering my APC Mentorship Programme in the link below. And the whole idea behind this is just try to make the APC as stress-free as possible, just breaking everything down into manageable steps that you can follow along with each month. I'll give you the best advice that I can in there that's helped hundreds of candidates gain chartered status over the last 10 years. So every member receives a free copy of the Q&A study guide. This includes over 1,000 questions to help you prepare for your APC, in addition to successful examples of case studies and summary of experience that you can use in order to assist you with populating your own documentation. Another area where many candidates go wrong is not referring back to the candidate and pathway guides, and one of the first things that I advise all APC candidates to do is to download and print out the latest versions of these. And just to illustrate the importance of this, the RICS have very strict rules around the case study and summary of experience word counts. In the event that these are exceeded, the RICS can reserve the right to cancel your final assessment interview. So this really does just highlight the importance of having a copy of the latest candidate to hand and keep referring back to these. The pathway guides also clearly set out the experience that you can refer to when populating your summary of experience. For example, looking at the accounting principles and procedures competency, you can refer to things such as profit and loss accounts and balance sheets, and by having a copy of the pathway guide to hand, you can be confident that you are giving the right examples in order to achieve the competencies that the RICS are looking for. So the key message here is to always work from the latest version of the candidate and pathway guides. Keep referring back to these regularly as you complete your APC, and they are there to keep you on track and make sure that you are meeting the RICS requirements. When writing up your case study, a lot of candidates have limiting beliefs that the projects they are working on are not high value enough or complex enough, but these concerns are completely unnecessary. Your case study does not have to be a high profile or multi-million pound project. It can be modest in scale and relatively straightforward. What really matters is that you're able to demonstrate three things. These three things are your key issues that you've encountered and the solutions that you're able to put in place. You also need to remain relevant to your competencies, so you should be able to go through your case study and tick off as many of your technical competencies as possible. And the case study should also include a reflective analysis, which is the lessons learned and end outcomes from the project, and what you may do differently if you had the opportunity to approach the project again. The RICS have a very prescriptive structure that you need to follow when writing up your case study. I did do a separate tutorial on this, which is contained in the link below, but please be sure to refer back to the APC candidate guides when writing up your case study to make sure that you are following the correct case study structure. But the key takeaway here is that your project doesn't have to be big or glamorous, it just has to be relevant to your competencies and follow the RICS structure that's set out within the candidate guides. And for more of a detailed tutorial on how to write up your case study to a really high standard, please use the link in the description below. There is also a free diary template in the link below, which will allow you to track and record your day-to-day surveying experience for your APC diary. This is provided in Excel format, and it does also include a progress dashboard. And this dashboard will allow you to highlight any shortfalls in your experience. You can then work to address these shortfalls to ensure that you have an even spread of experience across your competencies, which is key to be successful when working towards your APC. So please do check that out if that's of interest. This is provided completely free of charge, and it's helped hundreds of candidates successfully gain chartered status over the last 10 years. Finally, one of the biggest mistakes that I see from candidates, and I myself was really guilty of this, was just delaying the start of your APC due to limiting beliefs. Many candidates hold back because of misconceptions that the APC has a very high fail rate, or that the assessors are trying to trip you up by asking a wide variety of questions not related to your discipline. These conceptions are completely inaccurate. The global pass rate for the APC is around 60%, but in my experience of coaching candidates for the last 10 years, in some study groups I've observed the first time pass rate to be as high as 85 to 90%, and I think this goes to show that with the right coaching, good organisation and guidance in place, your chances of passing the APC first time can be very strong. It's also really worth clarifying that the APC assessors are not trying to catch you out, and their role is actually to give you every opportunity to demonstrate your competence and pass the APC. The majority of questions that you face during your interview will be generated by looking at your own experience and your submission documentation. You'll be expected to explain your experience in a tell us what you did style of questioning. So the key takeaway here is don't listen to the misconceptions around the difficulty of the APC. I myself delayed my APC for 2 years because of this, so please don't fall into this trap and really try to start your APC without delay and approach it with the mindset that the assessors want you to succeed. So try to start your APC without delay. So now that we've covered off this guidance, how do we go about improving our interview technique to really improve our chances of passing the APC first time? Well, for that, please check out this video.